When I was younger, I shared a room with my older brother and sister. My brother had his own twin-size bed in the corner of the room, while my sister and I shared a queen-size mattress, parallel to him. As a kid, you never overthink why you share a room with your siblings, or how your mom managed to fit a Christmas tree perfectly into the tiny apartment's living room. Christmas was always my favorite holiday. However, one thing about Christmas always scared me. My mom recycled the same skinny Christmas tree every year, yet I always found myself cowering at the sight of it. I don't know if it was because of how tall it was from my tiny point of view, or maybe it was because the tree resembled a tall woman in the dark, especially when my mom turned the Christmas lights off at night to conserve electricity. The tree's silhouette resembled a thin woman with multiple skinny arms branching out of her body. At night, I swear I could hear the tree moving around. I would always look over at my siblings' sleeping faces to see if they ever noticed, but they never did. Whenever I told my mom about it, she always reassured me that it was Santa making sure we weren't misbehaving. However, I never believed in Santa. One night, the noise was bothering me so much, I got up from bed to go to my mom's bedroom. As I walked down the hallway, I glanced over at the tree from the corner of my eye. The tree was standing still, in the corner of the living room. I could hear humming coming from the tree. I squinted my eyes in the dark, and the tree began to tip over. I was about to run to catch it from falling, but it never touched the ground. I watched as it transformed, right before my eyes. The wooden stand twisted into a spine. It was no longer a tree, but a pale woman with an unsettling face. Multiple arms branched out of her body like sticks. She wore a spiky dress with tons of ornaments. She began silently dancing around the room. It reminded me of a Nutcracker movie I'd watched with my sister. It was elegant, yet terrifying. Even though she was right in front of me, all I could do was stare in silence behind a corner. Its stomach began to make noises.
"Come here, little one,"
said a disoriented voice. I held my breath, backing away into the direction of my room. My hand reached over to flip the switch to turn the Christmas lights on.
"Don't turn on the lights."
I didn't look back up into the darkness and just ran into my room instead. I hid under the covers, as my siblings were oblivious to what just occurred. I knew I had a track record of hearing things at night because of how big my imagination was, so I just tried my best to go back to sleep. The next morning, I woke up with my siblings no longer in the room. I found my mom pacing back and forth in the kitchen while frantically making calls. I didn't know what had happened, but a week had passed, and my siblings still hadn't returned home. On Christmas Eve, I wrote a little note to Santa and left it underneath our tree. I was afraid of the tree, but I was also desperate for my siblings to return home. Come Christmas morning, my note was gone, and someone had left a nicely wrapped gift in its place. I grabbed it as quick as I could and took a seat in front of the tree, frantically undoing the ribbon and ripping the box open with my hands. Once I opened it, I wish I never did. Inside were 2 pairs of brown eyes, with string attached to the top of them. She turned their eyes into Christmas ornaments. I looked back up at the tree, and my jaw dropped when I noticed some new ornaments that weren't there before. Their limbs were randomly placed throughout the tree, with sparkles covering them. My siblings didn't need to return home. They'd never actually left. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'm somehow managing to post this before Christmas. This story was inspired by my childhood a little bit. I used to be scared of the Christmas tree at night because I had a vivid imagination. I wanted to write a story where a man isn't the antagonist because I'm a little sick of men these days. I hope you all have happy holidays and stay safe. So goodbye for now, but not forever.